Well, welcome back, guys and girls. You know, it wasn't supposed to go like this, guys. FSR4 INT8 wasn't supposed to exist. We all know this. Not like this. Not out in the wild, running on hardware that was never meant to touch. Now you guys are wondering if this is going to be like a little bit of a story time. Probably. So, but yet here we are. So how this thing slipped through the cracks, and the moment it did, the entire PC community just lit up on fire, started poking at it like a forbidden artifact, and I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't expect what I found, truthfully, because FSR4 INT8 does work. It doesn't just boot up when it's at the beckoning call. It doesn't just load like everybody just, it just does load, but it just doesn't load like everybody wants it to. It actually runs smoothly on most GPUs. Now, understand this. There are some GPUs that do have problems, but we'll talk about that more at the end. So, and on GPUs that never intended, never announced, and never approved. So, consistently never approved. NVIDIA cards, older cards, budget cards, even hardware that should have laughed in my face when I tried it. Yeah. But it didn't. It ran. And that's why where this story gets interesting. See, this isn't just a normal feature rollout. This isn't a marketing push. This isn't a polished release with a patch note and a roadmap. This is something that slipped out before the gatekeepers were ready. So, something that wasn't supposed to be in our hands yet. And the craziest part of this is, it works better than anyone has expected. That's the thing. But here's the problem. This entire situation is temporary. Understand this, guys. FSR4 INT8 is living on borrowed time. AMD didn't greenlight this. They didn't promote it. They sure didn't talk about it. They didn't acknowledge it. And because of that, they can shut it down whenever they want. One driver update, one silent patch, one line of code. And this whole thing disappears overnight, guys. That's why I'm making this video. Because right now, we're in a tiny window where this technology is alive, unblocked, and running on hardware across the board. Once AMD decides to lock it down, and they absolutely can, this chapter closes forever. So before that happens, I was trying to show you exactly what I discovered. I tested FSR4 INT8 on multiple GPUs across different brands, different generations, different price points, and every single time, the result was the same. It worked. Not perfectly, not magically, but shockingly well for something that wasn't supposed to be here. And that raises a bigger question. How long will AMD let it continue? Because, make no mistake, this isn't a bug. This isn't an accident. This is a capability that slipped out early and the community grabbed it before anyone could pull it back. And now we're all waiting to see what happens next. Will AMD embrace it? Will they shut it? Well, will they shut it down, guys? Will they pretend it never happened? Nobody knows. And that uncertainty is exactly why this moment matters. So tonight, I'm showing you the truth. You can go back and watch my other videos on me using FSR4. You ask yourself, what is FSR4 INT8? And what actually is it? It's an upscaler. That's what it is for your games. It's an upscaler for your games. Why it works on GPUs outside of AMD's ecosystem? Who knows? What our test revealed and why this entire situation could vanish the second AMD decides to flip the switch. This is the beginning of a countdown. The start of a story that's bigger than benchmarks and bigger than performance charts. This is the rise of technology that wasn't supposed to be here, and the threat that it could be taken away at any moment. So, get in the driver's seat and buckle up, because this is only the beginning. And if AMD decides to shut this down, at least we'll know exactly what we had and what we lost. So, in the future, we will be following up on this and we will get into this. So, I'm just bringing this little news to you guys because I want you guys to keep an eye on, the front of software versus hardware, which one's going to be better, which one's going to be worse. Right now, we're not getting price to performance on the hardware, so we're definitely depending on the software to pick up that extra little bit of slack. So, but with this, I ran, this is going to be my final conclusion. I ran FSR4 INT8 on the 4070, I ran it on the 3060, I ran it on the 7600, I ran it on the GTX 1650, which that probably wouldn't be worth you guys' time for me to redo that one again. I can redo it, I can do the GTX 1650, but you're not gonna be satisfied with the results. Okay, but it worked. FSR4 worked on it. The frame generation didn't work on it, but it worked. The upscaler did. See, it's like my DDR4 system that I had before I upgraded to DDR5. FSR4 INT8 worked with all of them on DDR4. The AM4 system. I don't know about Intel, I didn't test Intel, but I can tell you all the cards that I tested on AM4, they worked, and including the frame generation. But on AM5, this was a little bit of a story. The 4070 ran frame generation, 3060 ran frame generation. I ran into two problems with the 7600 and the GTX 1650. They both went and run frame generation. Even though you guys don't think it's important, it's still a piece of hardware that did not run. So I'm just announcing that out here now, so you know that you don't get stuck in that situation. If it's not running for you, then you know why. It just won't run on the hardware. So keep that in mind when you go to test it yourself. But I can tell you the 3060 and the 4070, they're really good. Like I'm going to tell you, the 3060, the only thing that I don't care for it too much is basically it doesn't have NVIDIA's frame generation. And it does not have AV1 encoding. Now, if NVIDIA decides to change that game plan in the future, hopefully they will, that would make it a good budget card just by making a couple changes like that, especially with 12 gigabytes of VRAM. It's still it still will work just as good as the 4070, not as fast, but efficient. Efficiency is what I look into. And so far, it was pretty efficient and definitely it gamed and streamed. It didn't really stream because I was streaming off of my CPU for the 3060, but still, I was able to do both at the same time. Does it make it a bad card because it doesn't have those couple things? No, it doesn't make it bad. If you're just looking for something not streaming and just like light gaming, yeah, the 3060 will be for you. I'm recording with the RX 7600. So you guys do the math. Why am I have a 12 gigabyte card sitting right next to me. How come I'm not using that compared to this 8 gigabyte one? Maybe because I'm testing it as I'm going along. Other than, benchmarking it and not getting any, give you one set of results, I want to give you more than that. I want to give you results that are real world use, as a daily driver. I mean, your computer is your daily driver. That's the results I want. I don't want somebody just giving me a 30-second benchmark. I want to see what happens 6 months down the road. So, keeping that in mind, I am going to keep the 7600 in here for another week. So, we'll see what happens. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to bring you up to date on what's going on and what could happen in the future. I know I'm kind of procrastinating a little bit on this, but I could be right. You never know. But anyway, since you made it to the end of the video and you really want to help us out, just hit the subscribe button. That will help my channel grow. But until the next time, in the next video, you know what it is? We'll see you on the next one.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.